Danielle, are you ready to gaze into this here abyss?
I'm so ready to gaze.
To quote my good friend Friedrich Nietzsche, let's check out this tight game footage from a game that has Abyss in the title.
Yeah, Abyss Odyssey.
It's a video game, and it's from Ace Team, and it's a lot of things. It's a procedurally generated 2D like action game with sort of progression elements and customization elements and like combo-based brawling almost. There's some platforming going on there. There's a little bit of monster collecting, which I'm gonna get down on.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. There are so many mechanics in this game that it's actually it's a mouthful just to sort of explain.
No, I know. I just did it. And
yeah,
my mouth is very, very full. I mean, here's the basic gist. It's sort of a I think my initial comparison when I started playing it was like, oh, this is kind of like Castlevania-y, of like there are monsters on a 2D plane and there's some platforming and RPG stuff. But really, I don't think that's exactly fair. It's almost like if that experience had more of a roguelike-esque structure. Although even that's not especially accurate, right? Because it doesn't have the same like sort of short loop structure of a roguelike. It's a really weird beast.
Yeah, it really is. You know, when I first started playing it, and I hate these comparisons, but I'm going to do it anyway, I sort of thought, like, oh, it's kind of taking some cues from Spelunky and Dragon's Crown.
I mean, that's, yeah.
But it's not.
It's super not.
It doesn't feel like either of those games. You know, it is a procedurally generated sort of platformer brawler,
right.
But it's also much more, playing it, this is a weird comparison, but playing it almost feels like playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It feels to me more like a brawler than anything else. Like, it feels more like a, in the vein of River City Ransom or Final Fight or Double Dragon or something like that, where you are just, like, beating the shit out of enemy after enemy, and then sometimes you'll find a new sword. Right? Like, layering on some heavier RPG. Like, just there, I found a new... Well, that's... it's not a very good sword. There's lots of different playable characters that you can control. Right now we're playing through like the core campaign mode of the game, which I think only has 3 main characters. This is the Ghost Monk guy. Here I'm changing out my skills. You discover new skills every time you defeat a boss, and as you level up, you can sort of slot these upgrades into those skills to make them a little bit more potent. And
which is fun. Very
RPG,
sure.
And then you have, like an attack button, a grab button you can use to toss enemies into the air. You have the special attack button, which is actually Super Smash Brothers-y, in that you hold it in different directions and it changes it depending on which direction you were moving when you used it. And you just want to like go down, man. You're just going, you're going downwards into the titular abyss.
Yeah, we have to talk about the premise of this game, which is probably my favorite part because of just how wacky it is.
It's a dream.
So it's sort of like it's like an 80s sitcom. It's all a dream.
It's the end of Saint Elsewhere. You are inside. Basically. You are inside an abyss-shaped snow globe.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So it's 19th century Chile, and there is a warlock naturally.
Yeah.
Who is dreaming. He's asleep and he's dreaming, and all of his dreams are sort of coming true. They're becoming physical reality. So these weird creatures, these centaurs and voladoras and ents and undead soldiers that's a voladora right there. It's
that
like half man, half bird.
Birdbeak man. Okay, I didn't know the proper name for it. I just set him on fire.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what you got to do because he's just going to try to eat your face with his beak.
No, he's terrible. He's very
You're doing the right thing.
He does have a key on him, which I want.
He does,
that.
which those are nice. Yeah. Those are nice to have. So this game has a wacky, crazy premise.
You
and that's
are
very
also you are also the dream though. Like the characters you're controlling.
Yeah.
But like why? Maybe it's like, are we the nightmare then? Because if he's having like a tight dream about like Birdman and Skeleton Boys just like having a rowdy party in a subterranean like Matrix, the third Matrix movie-esque like rave scenario, right?
Yeah.
And then I come in like this hooded spectral figure, and I just start killing everyone.
You're kind of a jerk.
I think I might be kind of a jerk a little bit.
It's really kind of cool. I mean, I guess the idea is that it's like wreaking havoc on the world above too, because these abysses opened up and sometimes monsters come out of them, and it's like, oh no, you're destroying everyone.
Sure.
So it's sort of like, well, we got to go, deal with this warlock,
right?
Because he's making this crazy dream.
So you control different characters. While you do that, you level up and get upgrades for the powers that you have. You get more health and mana and stuff like that. You also find equipment. You can only carry like one thing with you at a time, so you're kind of like every time you find something, assuming you can use it, which a lot of the time you can't, because there's different weapon types. Like this monk uses two-handed swords, so if he finds a spear, you're shit out of luck. I might be about to die, right? Okay, no, I pulled it out.
Death by Volodora.
I know, that would be embarrassing, because this is classified as an easy type area, and that's just shameful.
Those, I feel like this game, I really, really enjoyed it, but it definitely, there's some balance issues. There were definitely times I died in an easy area, or just sort of, ran through a hard area. So it's very much like.
So to be clear, this is a specific. Oh, dead. This is a specific like vernacular we're using in that as you go through the abyss, it'll tell you what the difficulty rating of the area you're about to enter is going to be. So this is technically an easy area, although I just died. So do you want to explain what happens when you die? Because I think it's actually a super cool mechanic.
Yeah, it's a cool mechanic. So when you die as your sort of chosen warrior, you get to sort of inhabit a soldier character, because you're in the fiction there are these soldiers who are trying to help you out, with the abyss. And soldiers are weaker, they're slower, they're not quite as good, but you sort of get a chance to sort of, play as that character. You can still fight, and you have to kind of try to find an altar to resurrect your actual chosen warrior.
Right.
So it's sort of like a second chance mechanic, basically.
It is, although most of the time, hey, look, a twin.
Bro. Most
of the time, like, that soldier's pretty bad. And, like, if I have one complaint about the game so far, and I've only been playing it for an hour or so, it is that there are a lot of different playable characters, because we haven't even addressed the fact that as you play through the game, you, under certain circumstances, can almost like capture an enemy spirit, sort of reminiscent of like the like the Dawn of Sorrow, the later like mobile Castlevania, portable Castlevania games. Yeah. You'll like sometimes between levels you'll fight in this like dream sequence, and you'll play as like an enemy type. I don't know what starts that, but sometimes that'll happen. And if you can win that encounter, it's usually pretty difficult, but if you can win, when you wake up as your main character, you can then transform into the character you were playing as in like the real game.
It's pretty cool. It happens sometimes after sort of like a mini boss fight, or if you use your power to capture, there's sort of like a capture power that the main warrior characters have.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool mechanic, because it's like, oh, all of these interesting sort of enemies that all have their own strengths and weaknesses are basically playable in the main game. And there is sort of like a fighting game mode in this game as well.
There is. There's a 4-player combat mode where you play as the characters. I think it's just the characters that you've unlocked in the main game. I haven't checked it out yet, though. But like, they have obviously gone to great lengths to make these characters feel different, right? The problem with that is that some of those characters feel like crazy clunky. Like, especially Axbro that I'm fighting with right now, like, just playing as him is kind of a nightmare. Because he moves really, really slowly. He attacks really, really slowly. And when you get in these encounters where you're, like, meant to, like, juggle enemies and do, like, tight combos and stuff like that, or even, like, just platforming, like, jumping from one thing to another, it sucks to do that as a character that is as slow and like uncomfortable to play as this character is, and some of the like transform characters are pretty bad too.
It's definitely true.
It may sound like a silly gripe, because then there are also characters that are really fast. It's just the ones that are slow, they don't feel like heavy and satisfying in that way. They just feel like you're driving a truck through an abyss, I guess.
The truck through the abyss. Yeah, here is the resurrection mechanic. Yep. Like, you made it, you did it, yay! Now you can actually be a real character again.
So you find gold, you can use that to buy, swords and rings and equipment. The token system, I haven't actually bought one because they're kind of prohibitively expensive.
They are, yeah.
But you can use those at these checkpoints to then use it as a checkpoint from then on. Otherwise, like, if I die right now, I have to start all the way over at the beginning of the abyss. If I get one of those tokens, I can use it at that checkpoint and activate it in case I die. And I do die later in this video, although we may not get to that because I captured a ton of footage. I died because I tried to kill one of those shopkeepers.
Which is not as satisfying as you would hope. You know, I've killed a few of them. I guess it's the same guy. I've killed him over and over again.
Yeah.
We're in a weird warlock dream. I guess it all makes sense. You know, they don't really drop anything super exciting. I thought maybe this would be sort of a Spelunky situation.
I thought
maybe
so
with the
too.
shopkeeper.
Yeah.
You just kind of fight them.
So this part right here is where like all these mechanics start to come together all at the same time, because you're using your combos, you're using your powers and grab throws to like launch enemies into
Obstacles.
this crazy obstacle, this like pit and the pendulum thing that's happening right over our heads. Every time that happens, it is super, super satisfying.
Yeah.
That's where you start to get beyond some of the complexity of like some of the earlier fights, which is just like you can really hit these guys just 2 times before they hit the ground. It really does, like, as you get new abilities and stuff, it really does build into like, how can I use the environment and all my abilities all at the same time to kill this person without taking much damage? Because there are like healing potions and stuff in the game, but they are kind of few and far between.
And
so
random.
You do have to play fairly conservatively, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of when the game comes together in this way, it's the best. It feels really great.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it's really cool, and it just feels right. But there are definitely times where I was sort of ganged up on by like 6 enemies, and I kind of was like, yeah, thanks.
Especially early
game.
On, like it's really easy for you to just get like surrounded by guys, and then before you can even like stand up, they've got you on the ropes. Like they will just dogpile on you, and that's rough.
Yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit. And there's sort of random times where an AI companion, if you're playing by yourself, you can't play co-op, which mitigates this completely. But there are times where an AI companion sort of joins you in the fight, and it's not the most helpful thing in the world usually, because even if you contribute 90% of the damage towards an enemy, if your AI companion gets that last lucky shot, you don't get the XP for the kill.
Oh, really?
So it's actually a little bit frustrating. Yeah, not my favorite design decision in this game.
So there, at that shopkeeper, I bought a transformation, which hopefully I'll bust out here in a bit. There really are a lot of those. And
they're great. I mean, when it's a good character. There's like 20 characters in this game, so that's actually pretty cool.
The one I just bought is Judith, who I have actually unlocked through one of those dream fights that I was talking about before.
Oh, yes.
And she can like throw poison spells around. There we go.
That's a Judith right there.
That's a Judith. Oh, and she's fighting another Judith. Yeah, how about that? So yeah, I think every character, because I've played as the skeletal guitarist guy before.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he's pretty sweet. There's a lot of variation, and again, like these characters all feel super different from one another. So this is actually not a bad companion summon character for me to have as the Ghost Monk, because the Ghost Monk is all about like, he's actually kind of slow. He has these big powerful melee attacks. To have like a faster character that can put a damage over time on enemies and then swap back and then finish them off with some melee attacks works really well together. So like you have to keep that kind of stuff in mind whenever you're outfitting your character. I do wish like there is a lot of finding loot you can't use. Like there's a lot of spears that I've found, and I guess maybe I just haven't unlocked the spear character, but it really is like half the treasure I find is like this totally tight spear that I can't even pick it up and sell it. Right? Like it's just junk to me.
I really wish you could sell items in this game. That would be really cool.
Or just not feel like to me, like that whole loot cycle is a bit devalued when you know that like most of the time you're not going to be able to use the stuff that you find. It just seems like a kind of weird, unsatisfying decision to make. Yeah,
they could have just put in weapons you can use for your character.
Right,
like, that wouldn't have been necessarily the hardest thing to implement in the game. For sure.
Here I'm trying to get a super sweet combo going with that guy. Oh, I mean I did, but after he was dead.
Yeah. It's not quite as satisfying that way. And here's a map of sort of like the 3 paths through the labyrinth, or the abyss, rather.
I think there's a secret. Yup. Get that
there's
secrets.
Door.
Very, again, very Castlevania. I mean, that's not a turkey leg, but You get the picture.
And that's a spear you can't use.
And a spear I can't use. Terrific. Thank you, Abyss Odyssey.
Yeah. Such a tease, Abyss Odyssey.
I kind of feel like Abyss Odyssey is like throwing idea spaghetti at the wall, and a lot of it's sticking. I mean, a lot of those things work really well together, but they have thrown such a tremendous amount of spaghetti.
Some of it inevitably is going to sort of
some of it's going to fall off.
Just fall
off the wall, and it's going to like rot behind the stove.
Yeah,
until you move, and then you're like, oh shit, remember when we did all that spaghetti stuff? What were we thinking?
Yeah.
Here I've gotten poisoned. Terrific job.
A lot of status elements in this game too. Very RPG.
There's a lot of shit that will kill you, like that plant. It's a very beautiful plant. Nah, it's gonna kill you. Just assume that basically everything in the game's gonna kill you. It's very, very difficult.
You can do it, you know, stay on the easy path until you feel appropriately leveled up, and then you start, you know.
Yeah, I should mention I've found a side door. Like most of the doors are going to go down and taking you down further into the dungeon, but sometimes you can find like a special key that will unlock a door that will basically let you hop from path to path going downwards. So that's what I've done here, and I've probably gone a little bit beyond. I'm sort of punching above my class, I think, a little bit here. But like
you're what, level 3 here? So yeah, it's a little tough on level 3.
But like again, if you're clever about it, like right there, I just was juggling them on top of that pit of thorns that like shoot out these fireballs. So if I can get them there instead of eating that damage myself, then you know, maybe you'll do okay. I don't know. I think I don't know. It's a really cool idea. There's a lot of really cool mechanics. A lot of them are a bit unpolished, but
sure.
It's kind of scratched an itch because they don't make a lot of games.
I feel
like this.
Yeah.
And when I say they, I mean the industry at large, not Ace. I feel like Ace exclusively makes games like this.
Ace only makes interesting games. And like, you know, I sort of, you know, writing my review right now, but I sort of say like, you know, I would take like an interesting, weird game that's not very polished any day over something that's like super polished, but a little bit rote. You know, you've played it before.
Yeah,
so.
like polished to the point of being like kind of
a little boring.
Antiseptic almost.
Yeah, a little bit. And Ace Team always makes weird games.
Yeah.
They made Xenoclash 1 and 2. They made Rock of Ages, which was also sort of like
game
hilarious.
Ever, sure.
Yeah. Mashup of like, God, that was sort of like tower defense and maze and ball rolling
boulders, sure.
rock.
I just found a sword I can actually use, which is always very exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. With looks like a freezing.
Yeah, it's got like
power
ice power to it.
That's awesome.
It's out now on Steam and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. There's a lot of ways to check it out.
Yeah, I would say it's worth it. I mean, it is what, a $15 game, I believe. I think it's definitely worth checking out for that price point for sure.
I believe there's a demo also, at least on the console. There's a demo though on the console version, so if you want to check it out beforehand, that's cool. There's a lot of really cool ideas. I think it's a game people are going to be talking about, especially since it's kind of a slow month, but it is a bit unpolished. Like, as you can see, I just killed that guy through the thing.
Yeah.
So if he did drop something, I can't get it because of the thing.
Yeah. It's... that happens.
I can try. I can try my darndest. Maybe this undead officer can do something about it. Nope.
Yeah, maybe.
These are
probably not.
Demon vines, and they can't be stopped.
Those demon vines.
Anyway, Abyss Odyssey.
It's pretty cool, Ace Team.
Good work.
Thanks for making a weird game.
Thanks for making so many weird games. We'll be back probably next week with some more stuff, so stay tuned. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye.